Hello guys, today we are going to be doing a 2019-2020 playoff prediction, and today we are going to start off on the AFC side. We're going to start off with the Texans-Bills game. Now, I think that the Texans are going to win this game, and I think that it's not going to be that close. I think that the Texans are going to win 34-13 against the Bills. On to the next game, which is the Patriots-Titans. I think that the Patriots are going to win 34-13, kind of like the Texans-Bills game. And yeah, I think that the Titans just really don't have a chance on this one. And I believe that the Patriots, because they lose to the Dolphins like once every year, I think that the Patriots just had an off game, and yeah, so I think that Patriots are gonna win. Now we have the game, the Seahawks versus the Eagles, and this is in Philadelphia, not in Seattle. Which Seattle was a pretty tough place to play, kind of like Philadelphia, but it's not that hard. I think the Seahawks probably have the better team in this game. If I look at a bunch of NFL and ESPN analysis, they're picking the Eagles on this one, which I don't know why, but I mean, they did clinch a division, which is pretty hard to do. So I think that the Seahawks are going to win on this one. I think it's going to be like 24-10 Seahawks. Next game we have is the Saints versus the Vikings. Now, if you are a football fan at all, you remember 2018 Minneapolis Miracle in the divisional round, Saints versus Vikings. Saints had that game. Vikings just took it at the last second. So I think that the Vikings are going to pull out on this one. Just kidding. I don't. I think that the Saints are going to pull out on this one. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think that this is going to be a game that's going to be like 34-10 or like 34-7. It's not going to be that entertaining of a game, I guess you could say, as it would be, for example, Super Bowl 52, Eagles versus the Patriots, when that one was going back and forth the entire game. Next up, we have the game of the playoffs, possibly. I think that it is the game of the playoffs. It's none other than the Seahawks versus the 49ers. In Week 10, these two faced off, and it was 27-24 in OT, which gave the 49ers their first loss on the season, and the Seahawks a chance to clinch the NFC West. Now, in the last game of the season, the 49ers pulled out ahead of the Seahawks to get the win and to clinch the NFC West and the number one spot in the NFC. This game came down close as well, at a 26-21 final, which had the Seahawks have the last play of the game. They threw a pass, and it was caught at the 1, and they were stopped right at the 1. Now, I think this would kind of happen the same, but I think it would be different this time. I think it's going to come down to the wire, but I think that the Seahawks are going to pull out. I think that the Seahawks are going to have the lead like a majority of the game, but it's going to be a close game. So I'm picking the Seahawks on this one to win. The next playoff game that we have is the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. This game is in Baltimore, and you already know Baltimore's going to win this game. It's not going to be that hard of a game, but I mean, it is going to be a pretty good game. I think Ravens take this one out of Baltimore with a score of 27-14. And I think Lamar Jackson just has an amazing game at this point. He's doing phenomenal. He's already like a running back at quarterback. Yeah, so I think that the Ravens take this one. Next up, we have the game between the Chiefs and the Patriots. Now, these two teams faced off early in the season, and the Chiefs won, which is how they clinched this home field advantage. They both went 12-4, kind of like they did last year, and they're kind of like around the same. Last year they were seeds 1 and 2. Chiefs were 1, Pats were 2, and this year the Chiefs are 2 and the Pats are 3. And originally, I picked the Titans to beat the Patriots, which means the whole game would have been a Chiefs-Texans game, but that's not how it goes. I think the Pats get this. I think the Pats got the Titans one, but I think that this one will go to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will take this one, and I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. And I think it's going to be kind of like the AFC Championship game last year. It's going to be close, and it's going to go into OT. But this time, instead of the Chiefs whining about not getting the ball at all, they're going to get the ball first, and they're going to do what the Patriots did and drive down the field to go to the AFC Championship versus the Ravens. Now we have the last game of the divisional round, which is the Packers versus the Saints, which means that this is going to be, I think, the second best game of the divisional round, which means that the best games of the divisional round go to the NFC. This is gonna be close, and I think that the Saints are gonna win this one because the Saints deserved to win to get a first round bye. Because the Packers only won because the Lions were winning, but then they became trash, and then they lost to the Packers. But in this one, the Saints are going to win, and it's going to be a pretty close game. But the Saints are going to win 27-21, and I just think that the Saints have this one in the bag. Now we have the first championship game of the playoffs, which goes to the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Now, this is going to be a good playoff game, but there's a few things that I have to say at this one. Even though it's in Maryland, Baltimore, I still think, even with Lamar Jackson and Earl Thomas, that the Ravens just don't have the strength to beat the Chiefs. To beat the Chiefs. I think that's because earlier in the season, the Chiefs beat the Ravens, but also in the game, the Chiefs didn't have Tyreek Hill. But this time they have Tyreek Hill, which is even better for them, and still Lamar Jackson was still playing like a good Lamar Jackson in like weeks 1 through the first week versus the Dolphins, and now he's playing against the Chiefs again. And when he played against the Chiefs, he had a few good plays, but this one, I think this one goes to the Chiefs. I think it's going to be like 27-25. It's going to be quick, but not... It's going to be a nice game, but the Ravens, they're not making the Super Bowl this year. I think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. Now, next up, we have the game between the Seahawks and the Saints. Now, I believe that the Seahawks are better than the 49ers, which was when the 49ers beat the Saints. So I think this time the Seahawks are going to actually lose to the Saints. And I'm predicting that the Saints are going to win this one actually by a lot. I think that the Saints are going to beat the Seahawks 21-10 here. And I think that the Saints are just overall the better team in this game. And I think that they're going to go on to face the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54 in Miami. Now, we have the Super Bowl matchup of what should have been the matchup of Super Bowl 53. We have the Chiefs versus the Saints. I think that this is going to be one of the best matchups that has ever happened. I believe this because the Kansas City Chiefs have been amazing in the pass offense. So is Drew Brees. And I think that there's going to be a lot of points and yards put up because the Chiefs defense isn't really that great of a defense, but is still really good with Tyrann Mathieu at a safety. And in New Orleans, they have Cam Jordan as a pass rusher. They have Von Bell as a linebacker. And then they have a bunch of just good defensive people. And I believe that so far, this will be one of the best Super Bowl matchups of the decade. And by that I mean the 2019 season. And I believe this because I believe that this is going to be good because if you take into fact the the record of the Saints and the Chiefs, the Saints have a 13-3 record and the Chiefs have only 12-4, but that doesn't matter. I think that on this one, the Chiefs will get the win and the Saints will lose. And there we have it, guys. The 2019-2020 playoff predictions. Who do you think will win? Comment down below. Who do you think the Super Bowl matchup is going to be? Leave a like, subscribe, turn post notifications on so that you get a bunch of good highlights by me. And without further ado, I will be posting Madden videos about the playoff predictions after this wild card matchup, or after this wild card round. The Madden videos will be on Madden's predictions of the playoffs and how they think it'll go out. I don't have enough time to do it right now, but if I could, I would do it right now, and I just don't have the time to do it. So stay tuned for that after Sunday. Just stay tuned for that on around Monday or Tuesday, and I will be posting more highlights about people. And comment down below which player you would like for me to do a highlight. And without that, I'm gonna say goodbye and peace.